Great, you can hear us now. Okay, we will just really quickly restart our presentation, or maybe we can just continue from this slide. So, the things that you haven't heard yet is that this is our first live stream, so we might have some technical difficulties, which you just experienced. Feel free to use the chat function as you did. That was perfect. Let us know if something doesn't work. We are digital ambassadors at Karolinska, which means that we provide content to future students as well as current students. Our names are Sebastian,
Julia,
and Risa.
Exactly. And today we will tell you a bit about student life. And if there's anything with technical difficulties, please, once again, let us know. That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think it is up to you, Risa, to
Nice.
start. Generally, we will talk about union activities, how the student life will be beyond KI and what else there is in Stockholm to do, and how to get involved professionally so that your career can maybe grow a bit quicker.
Yes. All right. So I'll be taking you guys through the student union activities. Oh, student union activities.
Not too close.
So we're currently situated at Medicinska Föreningen, which is the medical student union's union house on campus here in KI in the Solna campus, and we're downstairs, one floor down from the main entrance at the pub area, where myself and also Julia have been a part of this program or committee called PRU, which stands for the Event Committee or Programutskottet in Swedish, where we organize Friday pubs as well as set up different external events for students on campus. So here on this presentation, you'll see a brief layout of the hierarchy within the union. So we have the inspector at the top, and then we have the union council and the official student elected board. And then under that are commissions, sections, committees, employees, and also associations. So basically, a lot of the undertitles are run by students. In particular, the sections, there's 12 in total that I know of, and they represent each a different academic program that is offered here at KI. So the public health section that I am in, for example, represents the public health program, the master's program, as well as some other master's programs that are taught in English. And then you also have a boost, right?
Yeah, and I think it actually doesn't include, I thought till recently, that, right, my plant, okay, fine, that it was just the biomedicine bachelor's and master's that's part of this boost committee, but it's actually toxicology as well, and I think maybe nutrition science as well. Yeah. So yeah, sectioned, and then overall culture, which I guess you'll speak about.
And then, like I said, the committee that I am in, which is called Programutskottet, or PRU, is one of the 12 committees that are run within MF. So yeah. So a little bit about Programutskottet. I guess you've heard me talk about it already, but we are in charge of organizing bigger social events here on campus. So this includes the weekly Friday pubs, but also some external events for students. And these are some of the examples above. With the bigger events that we have are quite formal. So we have a newcomers party or amphiox sitting and after party, as well as graduation parties. And then one of our highlights in the fall semester is that we host a Lucia Ball on the 13th of December every year. And that is both to commemorate the St. Lucia celebration here in Sweden, but also to invite very distinguished guests, such as the Nobel laureates every year. So here in this picture, in one of the pictures, you see a few of the Nobel laureates joining the party and singing songs with us. And basically, a rundown of what we do in PRU, I guess we are both in charge of prepping the events on several days before the event. So you see here, it's kind of a before and after picture of us setting up the aula, and then also kind of creating the tables and arranging it so that it's formal, and then also beginning to plate and coming up with menus and stuff. And then also on the day of, we continue with the plating, plating actual food for, I don't know, it could be over anywhere between 100 to 500 guests in total in one night. So we do a lot of the rundown, like the waitressing, or the serving the food, or the free course, or as well as any beverages that come with it. And it's making sure that the night goes smooth.
So it's a whole day thing?
It's a whole day thing, or it's like
whole night as well. Yeah.
I think the first event that I worked was like the Amphiox setting, which is like it's a dinner party and an after party for like new students. And I think I came in here at like 2 p.m. and then I went home at like 4 a.m. because the sitting starts from like 6. I think pre-drinks at 5:30, sitting at like 6 or 6:30, but it's always delayed. And then the sitting ends around like 10:30, 11. And then it's like half an hour setting up the dance floor. And then that goes on until like 3. And then the graduation party goes on until 5. Yeah. So in the summer, it's like it's already bright when you finish, which is insane. But it's a lot of fun because you get to bond with a lot of people. Yeah. And which I guess sort of brings me to my next point. I joined Peru mainly because I had a few friends before me that had joined and had recommended it to me. And because I think, I guess coming straight, like moving away from Sweden after high school here, like I sort of missed out on the student life when I was younger. So I wanted to kind of have a way where I could experience that once again, even as a master's student, and then also meet new people from different programs at KI. So now I think Peru is getting like more, I guess, international throughout the years. So there's a few like English-speaking members from the Global Masters and the Bachelor's programs now. And then there's also a lot of people from the medical programs or like the physiotherapy programs, etc., and the psych. So there's a good mix of people of all ages and backgrounds. So for the social aspect, it's nice. And then I guess you're probably wondering why I look like a clown with the overall, but I don't know.
You have to stand
you have to stand on the chair.
And you should also stand up.
Yeah, but I have, okay,
This is how it looks like. It's kind of like a...
You stand up too.
I fear I'm gonna fall.
Don't hit your head.
Yeah, I'm not. We learned from the last live stream that I can hit my head.
Oh my God.
You also don't hit your head. So overalls, tell us about overall culture, Risa.
It's I guess it's kind of like a Scandinavian thing.
Yeah, hold the mic.
Oh, it's a Scandinavian thing. It's common in Sweden, but also in Finland and Norway, as far as I know. And it's a student tradition. So typically every section of a university have different overalls, or these like worker wear that you get when you join the association or a section. And then you kind of wear it as like a sense of belonging kind of thing. And then the colorful things that you see on the overalls are patches that we collect by visiting like different sections and meeting different associations like all around Stockholm, but also beyond. So I have a few patches that I got from like Finnish people, for example. So it's like a common thing. So you collect patches wherever you go, and you wear them when you work or when you're like hanging out as members of that section or committee, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, Risa calls them clown pants, but to me, I wrote an entire blog talking about how these are the dream overalls I spotted like when I came here, and I wanted them so badly.
Interesting.
So these are actually the overalls I'm working for, but you don't get them as soon as you join Peru. So my green ones are from Bus, and everyone that joins Boost can just get them. But for Prus, you have to actually earn them. So you have to do a pub shift and like party shift. I think that's how they explained it to me, and like a sitting. And I've so far only managed to work to pubs. And when you work, I'm working on it. Next year, hopefully you'll see me in the other overalls. Sure. When you work in the pub or when you work in general as a trainee, you have the nurse outfit actually. So there's still an outfit
They're
for
like
you.
scrubs.
Yeah,
that you have
so
to wear.
You wear scrubs.
And we call them like in Swedish we call them like ATs.
Yeah.
And it's like a term that you use for the doctor, like resident doctors, when they're doing their like training period. So that's what you have to wear before getting in. And then the 4 colors, I think it's quite a unique feature for MF or like for Peru, because typically it's only like one color for an overall, but we have 4, and I guess it represents the 4.
Can we see you on the screen? Probably not. You're gonna have to stand up.
But typically, I mean, it represents the 4 like bodily fluids. It's like a Greek humorism thing. So it's like phlegm, yellow bile, black bile, and blood. Yeah. And it's because it's like a medical kind of student union. Yeah. But
that's cool. That's cool.
And then I guess
Sittnings?
Yes, sittnings. That's a big thing.
That is really cool. Yeah.
Overalls and sittnings are like the I guess epitome of like Swedish student life. And so sittings or sittnings they vary in formality, but basically it's like a dinner party that are organized and run by students. And that's kind of like the Swedish students' way of like turning up or like partying in some way or form. It's like a main form of socialization in like the university setting at least. So what I said before, we organize like the Lucia-ball and the Amphiox. Those are all like primarily sittnings, and they're very formal sittnings. So we have like a 3-course meal that we plate and serve, but then it can also be like, speaking of clowns, this was like a clown sitting on the very right. So we had like an informal, like internal sitting that still had like 3 courses, but it was like, it's way less like hectic or like formal. So that can still be a sitting. And it consists of dinner, but also if you see the picture with the hideous spaghetti and the songbook on the right, that was also an informal sitting. But we usually sing traditional like student songs during the sittings. So you have to, it's a good opportunity to like learn Swedish.
Yeah. You're going to be absolutely lost.
And there's like specific ways of like singing certain things and stuff. So it's like,
it's so cool.
It's very fun.
But I think even as a non-native speaker, or if you don't speak Swedish, you will like get along.
Exactly.
Somehow like chant your way through. It's going to be fine.
Like it's like a big thing to like chat yourself with like your board. Not board, but table neighbors. So it's a fun way to socialize. And then besides that, I guess improve as a member, you, like I said, you like socialize a lot. And one of the, I guess, 2 of like the main things that we do are we have a like medical student Olympics every year between Norway and Finland and Sweden. So last year we like take turns hosting. So last year we went to Norway. And I think this year we're going to host it at KI actually. So it's like a fun way to like, interact with other people from other countries. And like the language barrier is like not that bad because everyone knows a little bit of Swedish. And this is finally just one other thing that we recently did. It's called skvalp. And we usually do it like around this time of year. And then it is, I think it's based in like a KTH like section. And we build floats based on different themes, and we make them float on water, basically. So
and you have to do a circle, so like they don't just have to float.
People have sunk before, but we haven't sunk yet. Very good. Thank goodness. We did that last weekend, and that's also like a 2-day activity. So you have to be there from like 8 to like 6 p.m.
But it's fun.
Yes, it is fun.
It's fun. And it's actually connected to this topic. While Risa was building the boat and the rest of the crew team was getting to do that, I, by chance, through some friends, was able to volunteer actually at the after party they have each year at the end of this kind of event, which kind of is, 2 days you said, but I think there's some activities maybe before, like the whole water festival, it's called Carnivalen. So I was really happy to participate, and each year it's actually, the after party is in like a secret location that they have to find out through a riddle, apparently. Did you get a riddle?
We have like a Mario Kart, like coconut island theme, like song play, and then the place was called like Coconut Mall or something, like formally.
Oh wow, okay.
So weird.
Yeah, because the after party, I mean, it's so shocking to me, was held in an abandoned shopping mall. So all those images, those are, I was trying to choose the images where you see most clearly that it's literally a shopping mall. So the food was right by the like escalator, and then it was a huge space, obviously a huge venue because it's a shopping mall, an empty shopping shopping mall. And it was really cool. So they projected also all the boats, announced the winner of whose boat was the best. And then there was a party that lasted till like 2 a.m. And there was some cleaning up to do, but it was fun. And I met some new people, so I enjoyed that. Yeah. Very random activity.
Yeah, very nice.
So now it's my turn to speak, and I will be talking a bit more about what else there is beyond KI that doesn't involve, perhaps the very KI student union things, which can still be also outside. And so yeah, I'll discuss that. And to make a bit of a structure, I'll go and talk about KTH and SU. These are two other universities that are in Stockholm that we can hang out at and that you can go to. And then the third image over there is Uppsala, which is a nearby, I'd say. It's not that far. An hour and a half of a commute. It's not that far.
It's a little bit.
It's not far.
Okay, I'll show you on maps. It's not that far. And Uppsala is a student city, so there's reason to go there. There's plenty to do there. If you get sick of Stockholm, there's still a lot to do here as well. And then the last slide with an epic party image is from SNNC, which is the Student Noble Nightcap, and I'll get into details of that later. So starting with KTH, KTH is, no, you can continue.
Yep, okay.
KTH is the technical university here, so physicists, computer science, all of those are there. And they have, like, more than us, we just have one pub on campus. They have several, and they have also clubs on campus dispersed around. And depending on the day, they'll have different events. So you can actually use pubquery.se also for Uppsala and for the other things that I actually don't know what else that is. But we've been using the KTH button, and then you can see throughout the week what events they have. And it's an easy way to go somewhere else. And everything's obviously within student price range because it's students working for students. And yeah, a great way to meet people outside of KI that study at KTH. And these are just some images of what that's like. That first image was, I think it was actually a Semla pub that they were hosting. So they always have some sort of theme. And Semla is a Swedish treat that you eat, like, what is it? Like Torsparch?
Like Fettistag it's called. But it's like, it's always like mid-February.
Yeah, exactly. So a great treat. They also had drinks in that flavor. It was, yeah, it was nice. We actually missed out on the actual treats because they sold out because the price was so good. But we came later and still had some fun time with some other friends, played board games. So more of a chill night. And then the second image, obviously that's one of the clubs and pubs. It can be both depending on the day. And then up in the corner, karaoke, they also host that. And at the bottom corner is actually one of the first times I was at KTH, and it was close to intro week actually. And there was beer pong. So a lot of things to do, a lot of activities.
Do you guys have any lectures at KTH?
No, I don't, but you do.
Okay, yeah, as a bioentrepreneurship student, you will have quite a bit of lectures at KTH. And I think if you want to take freestanding courses, you're all also open to go there. Yeah. Or even for language courses, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to say for SU, actually. I have friends that went to SU for, you can just pick, shorter courses, and they're afternoon courses, so you go, once or twice a week. And
so if you want to, you can also connect with other universities and other students from other universities in Stockholm, which I think is super nice, because otherwise, and from what I know, it's kind of more secluded, where everyone stays within their own university, but here it's Stockholm is just everybody. Yeah. It's all the universities together and everyone hangs out with everyone. So that's, I think, really nice.
Yeah, we're quite united.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And this is another example. This is actually just this week. We went
what
on
are you
Tuesday.
Eating in there? Oh, pizza.
Yeah, there was pizza. Okay, the green lighting is not doing it justice, but that was actually, and my laptop screen is a lab report that we had to hand in that night. So it was a crazy setup, actually, and us sitting there watching Eurovision, massive screen. It was really fun, and then also typing the lab report. So we had dinner. That was a 15 crown dinner pizza.
Wow,
so that's good.
Price.
Yeah, because at this pub, they're selling everything for as much as they buy, apparently, and they don't make profit. It's really student for student. So, yeah.
Okay, next one?
Yeah.
Let's go.
One of my favorites to talk about, SNNC. This is the Student Noble Nightcap. You can click the next slide. And me and Sebastian actually participated in this in 2024. And it's to, maybe explain. Basically, obviously the Nobel Prize is a big thing in Stockholm, and we have a whole Nobel Prize week filled with events. And on the 10th, there's a Nobel banquet, and it's each year, it's the 10th of December. And after this Nobel banquet is kind of a prestigious or like exclusive after party that's organized entirely by, as you see up in that photo, a massive group of students. And I don't think we're all even there because a few of them left as soon as the shift was done. Because this is probably taken at like 6 a.m. So, and we basically, it's like hundreds of students that get together to organize this after party, from like the finances, foods and beverage, decor. As you can see, there's like a lot of construction also that's going on. So marketing, I mean, you were doing
I was
filming.
doing videography and photography. So I think whatever you want to do, there's probably something that you can do for them. And even the pictures that you see right now, it's only one room, right? But it's like a huge building that's usually, every single room has a different like theme, and the theme of the overarching theme is kept secret until the day of. Very, very secret. And there's like no photographers allowed there. You can't take pictures with your phone. The only pieces of media that are actually being released are controlled by them. So these are like the photographers that they have kind of like hired, and the videographers that they have hired, which is me. And if you want to see more about that, there's also a YouTube video, which I can recommend.
Because he made it, It's a very high quality video, so I do recommend you watch it. But there's so much that happens behind the scene. I mean, you see this like kind of vibes of like students kind of like working together, for free for hours after, you're going, my days then in, well, Sebastian didn't quite experience this because he was so good at videography.
I was working a lot,
Yeah, exactly.
Afterwards.
No, he was doing a lot of long distance work. But a lot of us were there. I mean, I needed, because I was a decor RPM, so decor room project manager. And the reason those photos are all ocean themed is because my room was stormy ocean. And that is a real ship that you are looking at that we cut up. And that is like, we just brought in a real boat, cut it, put it up there, and then hid the obstacle that's like kind of keeping it in place as an octopus tentacle. And this is my cherished piece of that boat that I will keep forever, with a bunch of signatures.
You have to hold it higher for the camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Very
perfect.
small. Is that, so that's a literal piece of the boat. I had a great time with this. Hence, next slide. I am participating this year again, but in a higher role. So I'm going to be creative director, and it's actually good to take a higher role because then next year you're invited to the party. You still have to pay the ticket, but I think it's really cool, and it's just nice to. I mean, these were the first few photos of like us meeting up together, and I think the vibe is great. We're gonna be a very good team this year, so I welcome you guys to join us as an RPM, so room project managers, or as 90s, which just come then for the time when we need you most during construction, and then you also have to work during the night. So
I think you really also have to stress how exclusive this is.
Okay,
so it's impossible to get tickets for this if you don't participate or are a Nobel laureate. Nobel laureates attend. It's so difficult to get in there, and if you get in there, you meet like Nobel laureates that will party with you. You can chat with them.
Crazy stories about the things that are offered inside.
There's
like, you did one.
It's like the who's who of like Stockholm high society. It's very, very, I think, memorable to go there, and I really enjoyed it. I think you really enjoyed it, obviously, if you did it again.
No, I loved it, and it's so much fun. I mean, it's so cool also to like, there's stuff you'd never imagine. Like, we were literally building everything out of wood and like wire and stuff to make a room like that in the end. Like, crazy, so really fun. And again, advertising. I would love to see you guys join. We're going to be looking for RPMs in August. So if you want to be within the decor team, I will probably be interviewing you. So hope to see you there. Come to us, join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. a little bit of work, especially towards December, but in the end it's amazing. It's a worthwhile experience, I'd say.
Great.
Yeah, and Uppsala. This is not that, look, it's 42 minutes from central Stockholm.
It's far from here.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to go directly from KI to party, like Risa would do it, then yeah, it's a bit, no, but it's not that bad. It's perhaps okay, an hour-ish, because the pendeltåg is a bit unreliable at times. No, but Uppsala is nice because it's a student city, and literally almost every building you walk by is gonna be a student nation. So this is similar to how our MF is structured, but just imagine like Uppsala being such an old university. They have like these nations that are like really like long lasting, and so yeah, they've got plenty of that, and they're also well funded, so the rooms look insane. Some images from the clubs. So we got familiarized with Uppsala through a friend who's from Uppsala and took us there, and it's become kind of like, not a routine thing, but we do go at times. The best club, Snärkes, is open on Tuesdays, so I recommend you go there. You buy the weekly ticket, so there's a weekly pass that you have to buy if you're not from Uppsala. That's 150 crowns, and then you get to enter their student, because otherwise you actually can't enter their pubs and stuff. So you kind of need the pass, unless you know someone inside. So yeah, but those are nice images from. It's also just a beautiful city to visit during the day, and I'll talk about that later. Yeah. So Uppsala during Valborg. This is just a quick Google search. Like when people were warning me about this, because this just happened in May. Valborg is celebration. I don't exactly understand
it's
what
like the
you're
start
saying.
of like spring or something.
Yeah, that's how I understood it.
Pagan holiday.
Yeah. So Walpurgis Day, or
Exactly.
in English they
Night.
call it night. They call it Valborg, and it's a big student thing, I think. Like you see, Uppsala's completely crowded, and I got to experience it. So next slide. Thank you, Sebastian. This is kind of a timeline of events. So because this was so hyped up to us by our friend Joni, we decided to actually book 2 nights in a hostel, which was relatively cheap, and it was much better than commuting home and then back, especially because the event starts in the morning. So we went there the day before Valborg. We got to see, they also have the boat building thing, and they were building boats. So we saw the boats that they had for Valborg. Then we spent some time at a park listening to live music from one of the student nations, because they have a bunch of events the day before also. Then the third photo is already starting with Valborg, and the first traditional thing to do is you're supposed to get up really early, go to a park, and have champagne breakfast. So that was nice. Then we hung out there for a while. It was quite cold, and then we also got to see the boat races. So they also have boat races, a bunch of, I'd say definitely more boats than they have in Stockholm, and really like cool design boats. Then we went to a park where, again, the park was just flooded with students. Really nice place to hang out. We met some more people from like the Uppsala friend gang, and it was fun. Got a bit of rain in that photo, but it was just a bit. Did not lose the spirit. Then we moved a bit up the field. We played some volleyball, some different games, and yeah, it was really fun. We even met up with the second years at some point, so second years bachelors in biomedicine. Yeah, a lot of fun. And then you're supposed to end it by seeing, obviously, the fire. We did not make it to the fire.
I think you have to explain that for a second. Like.
Yeah. So that's a big part of Valborg, I think. The burning of the massive fire at the end of the night. I don't know much of the tradition. We do it for the 1st of May in my country, so for Workers' Day.
Yeah. I think it's for like getting rid of bad spirits.
Bad spirits, okay.
Probably. And it's just a huge pile of dried tree branches. And you burn it, and it's
like
quite nice. And I think you can see it in multiple places around Stockholm, but then in Uppsala there's like a very specific big one. Yeah. In Stockholm the biggest one is, I think, Skansen, which is also super pretty and definitely recommendable.
Did you go? Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. It was really nice. Yeah.
Was there dances all? Because I saw on Anastasia.
Yeah, people were running around in circles, but they had like their phones out, so it got like less romantic.
Okay. Recording the moment.
But it's really cool.
Yeah, it was. So, and then in Uppsala, there's also a thing of corridor fests at the end. So you're supposed to kind of socialize enough during the day so that you find some corridor fest to get into. And apparently we did have some address to go to, but we didn't end up getting into any apartment. What we did do though was someone was DJing from a balcony. So we got to enjoy the music from the balcony outdoors until we got so exhausted from the whole day that we just decided to go back to the hostel and take a long nap.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, I wanted to emphasize that it doesn't have to be a specific activity or like something big, and that you don't have to go to some other university to hang out. There's going to be a lot of socializing that's just going to be spontaneous outside of a lab, perhaps, or just, at other people's houses or apartments where we just get together either for a house party or just like a grilling, for example, or having a dinner together. So that's nice too.
Would you say you have found friends fairly quickly after coming here?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think I was worried about it when I was coming here, and I think we kind of instantly connected, especially these people in the photos. These are the people I mainly met, like, right at the start. And so, I think it was quite easy to make friends. Everyone's really open.
And are they all in your program?
No.
Okay.
Actually, in that corner photo, there's some from Uppsala through Joni that's in my program. And then there's now one girl that was, Natasha, she was with us in biomedicine but switched to medicine. Mm-hmm. So she's a med student. Then there's also a med student there. Some random guy that's friends of the guy with the goggles.
You don't have to explain them all. I just wanted to know if they're all in your class.
Not all within our program. Well, I wanted to explain to you that it's not all within our program.
That's fair. Can I skip next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yes. I keep forgetting how much I put. Sorry. But reminder, go to Intro Week. If you're a prospective student, also if you're a prospective student, you need to know that KI organizes an Intro Week that happens before you start your program. And I think it starts check the website, but I think it's 25th of August that they start with the welcoming ceremony. And then the students, MU, it's a section of the student union like we were talking about, that's like the welcoming committee, and they will organize sittnings, different random activities, the Amphiox games, and then the Amphiox sittnings and all that you have to do during the first week. So you're gonna be packed with activities. It's almost too much. So tours around Stockholm. I don't know, we got so much. I was so actually shocked how much students are willing to do for free for other students. But you'll see me there next year. This year, August, because I'll be one of the fathers, which are the people that take care of a little group. You get assigned a group of new students, and then you're welcoming them. So I'll be there, and I hope to see you guys there as well. If you recognize me, come to me. I will be very happy to speak to you.
Yeah, I think we met actually during interview, right?
we
did. So we met, and I think it's a great way to get some friends.
Yeah, for sure.
Specifically outside of your program, because at that point everyone mingles and you have contact with everyone else before you kind of get grouped into your programs.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a great chance to just get to know everybody.
Yeah, it's just everyone that's starting at KI that's there, so it's great.
And then it's time for my part, which focuses on career and not so much on socializing and partying. I guess that's my role.
It's important.
It's
as the bioentrepreneurship student.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course. And why should you get involved in volunteering at all? So I think it's a great way to learn new skills. It's super great to make new friends. As we mentioned, you spend quite some time with the people in your program. And I think it's very easy to kind of get stuck in that program specific friend circle. Yeah. But when you start volunteering, you meet so many people from other programs, other universities even, maybe people that don't study at all, but they are just professionals and they help you with something. So it's networking and making friends. It's the best possible way to do that is through volunteering. At KI, since it's a very healthcare, life science focused university, you can experience the life science industry through these volunteering events, which is super important if you want to go into industry after finishing your degree. If it's not necessarily the PhD you're looking for, which would be myself, because I really don't want to do a PhD. And you would set yourself up for success in a bit, in a way, because you just get your connections, you get your skills, you get your experience, and then the first application, job application or your LinkedIn just looks a bit more polished. Exactly, and so I'm going to show you a few ways of how to get involved, and this is the first one. It's Synapse. Actually, it's called Synapse Life Science Connect, and it's a non-profit student-driven organization for life science students. They have hubs, I think, all over the Nordics. It's not a Stockholm-specific organization. I think actually recently, because they're headquartered in Copenhagen, they had a huge meetup of all the different sign-up-Cs in different cities. It's a great way to get new skills, especially in event organization, because they organize events to speak with speakers, with career professionals, and they want to show life science students how you can like maximize your career potential. And they have recruiting phases where they interview prospective students that want to like join. I can definitely recommend joining. A lot of these people are my personal friends from the program. They're very, very nice. They have like close bonding amongst each other. They spend a lot of time together, and it's a great opportunity. So I would definitely recommend it. It's actually my personal next goal, so I'm gonna apply next year. So you will have to compete with me.
Okay, yeah.
No, but it's
Don't
really
apply
cool.
then.
No. And then the next thing is TEDxKI. I actually saw like a patch here. Did anyone of you do TEDxKI? You did
I have
TEDxKI.
it on the overalls as well. Yeah,
Okay.
I did, but like as a very minor role. Well, it sounded like a major role. I was given like there was a list of like last minute like volunteer call outs that they were looking for volunteers, and there was one role called executive producer.
Wow.
And so I clicked that role. Yeah, exactly. And I ended up getting it, but it was still more of like assistant to the executive producer. And the thing is, they had such a great like tech people set up that like we had nothing to do. Even my boss had like, he was like, they figured it all out. Like we don't have to do any filming and stuff. So yeah, but it was a nice team to be part of, obviously. I wish I was joined earlier, because obviously I came like on the day of kind of to help with prep. But these people work since like November for an event that happens in April, I believe. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think anyone has to like introduce TED Talks. I think everybody knows that. And then there's TED Talks, and then there's TEDx. Yeah. And TEDx is like a subdivision of TED, where they collaborate with some fancy research institutions or just general cool institutions. And KI is one of them. So you can have like your real TED Talk that you can attend, that you can help like contribute to. Here in, I think it's in Aula Medica, like the famous large lecture hall where also some of the Nobel laureate lectures are held, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that's quite cool, I think, to just spend your time there.
Yeah,
but also if you're like prospective student, your inauguration ceremony will probably be in the large lecture hall, which is super fancy, and I think it was such a nice.
It was so fun.
Yeah, it was such a nice event. So you will have like a cool opening ceremony held by KI's president, I think, where she will welcome you specifically. It's really cool. And I mean, TEDx, you can do so many different things. It's like, I know that there's finances, logistics, working with the speakers, organizing the event in general. Again, videography, photography, if you're into that. You can do everything. Yeah, and it's a huge event. It's so nice.
It's like SNNC, like it's such a big organization that there's so many different categories. But one thing I wanted to add on with the welcome ceremony and the big hall, in that hall there's also the Nobel laureates give their lecture each year. So the ones that are awarded in physiology and medicine, obviously because KI decides on that, you can also for free enter their lecture if you queue for a long time. So that's also like a really cool student opportunity given here at KI.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Exactly, so TEDx, also very cool event. And then the next one would be the business committee. So it's part of MF, which is Medicinska Föreningen, and the student union that Risa told you more about. And they are kind of also part of their like career network. They organize one of the biggest career fairs here on KI campus. It's called Chase, you can look it up, where you could like meet employers, like companies, ask them for internships, get to know them, which is super cool. And a lot of these people, again, are my personal friends. They're very, very nice. I know that they're spending a lot of time together, and it's great for, again, organizational skills, networking. You can get to know such great and important people from industry through these kind of events. You can also be like involved with multiple of these organizations at the same time, because you can juggle it kind of, and it's really great. I think it's very recommendable. Do you know anyone that's doing business committee?
I know one that's doing I'm not sure now which section, but she said it was really cool that she got to also collaborate with like, or they had to reach out to a lot of like pharmaceutical companies. So if you want to work with like kind of really getting to know industry, you will get to know industry through this committee.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I mean, close to KI, there's like the Johnson & Johnson. There's a Johnson & Johnson office, I know. There's an AstraZeneca office. Elekta also.
Yeah. I think this area in general is like a hub.
Yeah, of course, it's a huge hub for pharma. So through these kind of like organizations, you can leverage that and just get in contact with so many cool companies. Yeah. So I can really recommend you try that out. And then I have iGEM on here, which is kind of like a personal pick because I did it like 2022, I think. It was such a cool event. And iGEM is like a competition in synthetic biology. So if you're doing something like biomed or toxicology and you just want to have some lab experience, iGEM offers you that. So it's here in Stockholm, it's iGEM Stockholm. So all the different universities can kind of like recruit students, and they have a shared team. And the competition is usually held throughout 1 year. And in the end, everybody meets in Paris, and you have a huge jury and whatever, cool. And everybody pitches their projects, and you make up your own research project, basically. That might even be kind of like a startup, and you have to fund it yourself. You have to organize it completely on your own. You have assistance through like some professors maybe, but generally it's a student-driven project, and you can just experience real research and like real startup vibes in a biotech like environment, I guess. And I can really recommend it. It's such a cool event. I think it was personally one of the best volunteering things I've done, and it also for networking, it sets you up to meet so many great people. So I would definitely recommend you guys check that out. And then kind of like overarching over everything is the KI alumni network, which is something that I think is so cool. And I don't know it from any other really like university that I've been affiliated with. And it's just like a network that you can sign in as soon as you're a student, a researcher, or if you're employed from KI. And you can make a profile about yourself and what you like. And then you get thrown into this database of, I think, 19,000 members that were at KI or have been at KI. And you can just reach out to them through this database. You can filter for specific buzzwords or just look up people that you like or that might have an interesting career path to you, and then just send them a message. Ask them if they want to help you. It's no strings attached, completely self-organized, and I think that's really great. And in general, the amount of people that are willing to help you here in Stockholm and that are open to grabbing a coffee with you if you have some career like advice questions is astonishing and something I wasn't used to. But you could text like someone in a super high industry position if they wanted to grab a coffee with you. If you're somewhat known to them, they might say yes and talk to you, which is, I think, great. And through this network, you can even get in touch with more people. So I can definitely recommend signing up to that one. I think I signed up like 3 days ago.
Yeah, me too. After the meeting. I was kind of disappointed that this isn't that advertised by KI. Or like I recently kind of heard of it, and I didn't really understand how it worked. Yeah. And it's really cool. So
So if you join that, you can also connect with us.
Yes.
If you need some career advice by any of us.
Career advice for first year bachelor student.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? If they need career advice for first year bachelors, maybe.
Maybe.
But I think that's a very, very cool initiative.
Cool. Yeah.
And with that, there's only one more thing to say.
Yeah, connect with us. So let's be in touch. No, but seriously, if you're prospective students, if you're coming to KI now in August, join Going. I think you should have been sent an email or some sort of notification about this. And you can search up digital ambassadors, and you'll find all of our profiles, also the rest of the digital ambassador team, and you can see what they're studying, what their hobbies are. I hated that hobbies feature. But yeah, so get in touch with us. We'll be replying as much as you can.
Exactly. For any questions that you have, just approach us. I think we also all have our languages that we speak up there. So if you don't want to approach us in English, just find someone that speaks your native language. I think we're kind of diverse. Probably. And if you don't want to connect with us on Going, you can also connect with us on LinkedIn or just send us a mail, because we are very open to answering your questions if we can, or at least redirect you to some online resources where you can get your questions maybe answered yourself. So feel free to approach us. And I think with that, our presentation is done. And if there's any questions, it's up to you guys to just send that into the chat. and let us know, and we will try to answer as good as possible, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, this was fun.
Yes, but generally, thank you very much for your attention.
Exactly.
It was a pleasure. I mean, we had some technical difficulties, but we managed quite good, I think.
It was teamwork, actually, through you guys. So thank you for your help, and for your patience. But I hope we didn't talk too much. But I think it was interesting. Yes. I know I was worried when I was coming here that there will be no student life in Stockholm because one, Stockholm isn't a student city, and two, compared to the Netherlands, you would expect kind of nothing here. And I didn't hear much about anything. I didn't know about the overalls or anything. So I think it's quite useful for you guys to hear about all of this. Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, I think it was really good. And also, I think in general, even though Sweden might be portrayed as like a bit of a dark country and like a very kind of like you're on your own, it's so easy to make friends, specifically in an international context. It's so nice. Everyone is so open because you're not the only one that's going to move here. Like everyone from your program, if you're doing an international program, will move here, and they're so eager to connect and so open. It's very, very, very relaxed. Do we have a question?
Oh, these associations. Okay.
So the question is, I can read this. So the question is, when are applications for these associations? Do we get an email, or is the info available on socials like Instagram or LinkedIn?
I'll say for SNNC, for example, I mean for MF, maybe it's good to point out the queuing days for SSSB housing. You can sign up for
there's
that.
There's a housing separate.
Okay, so there's a housing video. But yeah, you can join MF kind of whenever and start paying membership. But you can do that when you come here, so don't bother with that earlier. But for SNNC, because they're not finalized when exactly the deadline will be for application, just follow them on Instagram. That's how I got all of my information last year. So SNNC, Instagram, and you'll get all the information.
Yeah, I think it's the same for the other student associations. They all, or most of them have Instagram, which you can follow.
Yeah, Instagram or like nowadays it's like there's an app called Hitract. And there's also Facebook, but I think Facebook is like dying down a little bit.
It's Instagram mainly. I know also for like I checked actually just recently business committee and iGEM. I saw that iGEM was posting, so when their application rounds are closing.
But generally, yes, there are application rounds. So it's usually twice a year, I think. Also for signups, I think it should be twice a year. And you do have to apply. You should keep the deadlines in check. Definitely, like keep an eye on that. It's not gonna be too soon after you get here. I think you have like a month or two.
Yeah, I think
to
also
find
like
what you want to do.
MF hosts like an info pub every semester. So you'll get to meet like, I know it can be kind of overwhelming in the welcoming weeks, but I think it happens maybe a few weeks after we get in and we get like a little bit more settled. So that's when you can meet all the new associations or like all the existing associations in person. And then they'll have like a QR code or something.
They each, it's actually really cool. Good that you pointed it out because they each have their own stand. They're all wearing their overalls. That's how I talked to both Pru and Boos, you know, and I was thinking which one should I commit to, and it's a bit of like a, but they had Synapse there, they had iGEM was there, everyone was there, iGEM was there. There's literally everything you can do. Sports committee, we just mentioned that there's sports. Like there's a music one as well, that they were like, we have auditions, you know, coming next week. Then sustainability, like there's so much. It's kind of crazy. I think it's a lot.
That's true. And also, if there's anyone you meet and you think something they do is interesting, like just tell them, hey, if you ever take up new people, let me know, and then they will approach you and they even remember you, and then you have great chances. So like being social, talking to people, they will be super keen on just like helping you, so that's quite nice.
I agree.
An email goes long ways, a question goes long ways, so just dare to ask, dare to talk to all of us. I think we're all very welcoming and friendly, so approach us.
Yes, and I think if there's no more questions, then that would be it from us.
Yes, we're gonna wrap up.
Yep, all right. Okay, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
And hopefully we all see you soon in person.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
Bye-bye, good luck.